Yes, indeed, all the signs are pointing to a new upcoming Star Wars game being officially announced on June 9th. But what you might not know is that we actually know a good bit about this game already. So let's go over the leaked details for Project Maverick. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Blast that like button like it's the single flaw in an otherwise unpenetrable space station of death. And let's get right into this video. So frankly, I think you're going to be surprised when we sort of dive into all of the things we actually know about Project Maverick. And yes, all signs point to Project Maverick being the game that is going to be announced on June 9th ahead of EA Play Live. And it looks to be a big game that Jason Schreier over at Kotaku was talking about before last year. And just to note, this game was going to be showcased last week, but because of all of the George Floyd protests, they decided to push it off for a week, but it does look like it is going to be coming out Tuesday, June 9th. So let's go over all the details, man. What do we know about this game and how do we know it? And then at the end of the video, I'm going to speculate, and I think you're going to want to stick around for that speculation because there's a lot we don't know about this game, including this thing that the publishers and everybody with it keeps saying, and that is the unique quality of the game. So I'm really interested to speculate on what this unique quality will be. But as far as what we actually know, let's start with the baseline. The baseline here is that this is going to be a flight simulator. The game is going to be a flight simulator, at least majoritarily. Now, interestingly enough, there's like 1,000 different threads that sort of come to this conclusion. But last year, EA actually posted a job listing for the Ace Combat community. Ace Combat is a flight simulator done by EA, and EA literally went into the community, posted on Reddit, posted on Discords, and posted on LinkedIn looking for somebody that was a part of the Ace Combat community to be a game balance specialist for a game in the same genre. That listing was for EA Motive, and Motive is indeed the company that's handling Project Maverick. But if you're looking for a much simpler explanation, you could just look at Bespin Bulletin, who did indeed confirm that their sources have told them that Project Maverick is a flight simulator. Now, another place that we get a lot of the info for Project Maverick is all from this leak that happened a couple of months ago, where Project Maverick literally showed up on the European PlayStation Network. Now, this happened in March, and there was some artwork that came along with this post, and we learned some of the functionality from the game revealed to us because it was put into a selected category within the PSN store that showcased that the game could be booted up from a party screen and could have multiplayer of up to 5 different people playing at once. Now, some people have dissected the artwork that was seen there and some of the music that was on that screen on this PSN leak to basically prognosticate that the game will likely take place in the original Trilogy era. I mean, the Star Destroyers that you see and the X-Wings are from that era of Star Wars, and the music combines Princess Leia's theme with some other themes that belong in the OT or original trilogy. Now, interestingly enough, Jason Schreier, who used to write at Kotaku, actually had talked about how there was a game scrapped by EA that was sort of quietly being developed into its own sort of smaller, more unique game. And after the Project Maverick stuff came out from that PSN leak, he did admit on Twitter that that is the exact game that he was talking about several months prior. And Jason Schreier and a lot of other insiders to the video game industry have been tweeting and making all of these different jokes that sort of support the theme of Maverick coming soon. I mean, the company EA Motive itself recently just got a Twitter. Like, they've never had a Twitter before. They made a Twitter, and then Jason Schreier was literally like, looks like someone's about to release information on their new game. It's like the worst kept secret in video games. Project Maverick, a flight simulator coming out for Star Wars, likely to be announced on Tuesday. Now, we'll obviously get more info likely on Tuesday, but I think it's going to be sort of a tease. I actually think you'll technically get more information from watching this video or other videos out there online about Project Maverick than you will even get on Tuesday. But here's the hoping that some official information does come out. but EA Play Live is slated for later this month, and it's likely that we'll get the majority of the actual information about the game dropped to us at that time. And from what I've gathered in our research, a lot of people are speculating that this game will not be coming out until 2021. Bespin Bulletin and Fanthetrax have both put out different sort of posts or signaling that the next EA game, which would be Project Maverick or another game that we don't know about, won't release until 2021. So while none of what I just said to you has been officially released by Disney or Lucasfilm or EA, there's a lot of evidence to support everything we just talked about. It's pretty well documented that Project Maverick is this game. It's going to be announced on June 9th. It is a flight simulator in some way. It's going to have multiplayer capacity and likely will not come out until 2021. So that's all the official stuff. But now I want to sort of speculate and talk about what some people are saying. Some of it's got me a little bit nervous. Some of it's got me excited, and most of it has me incredibly confused.
I'm so damn confused.
So one of the things I find super weird is, despite people like Schreier and others acknowledging the fact that this is a big deal, this is sort of a big scoop, and this is something that people will talk about because it is Star Wars, a lot of them have also said that their excitement for the game is something like a 5 out of 10 or just meh. And I find that so interesting, and there's this continued discussion of how the game is much smaller. So it's going to be a small game. It's probably not even going to be as big or as deep as something like Battlefront 2. It's likely to just be a flight simulator. That will be the only type of combat that is in there, and you're going to get multiplayer capacities, but other than that, it's probably not going to be this incredibly expansive thing or anything close to like an MMO or anything with that kind of depth. However, on the flip side of that, most of these people are also saying that it's a really unique game. It's a really interesting game, and that has me really curious. How is a smaller game that isn't exactly getting some of these insiders really, really pumped going to be unique? And what angle is EA and EA Motive trying to do with this game to make it appeal to more Star Wars fans? Well, I think if you look at Battlefront 2 and the way that game life cycled, it's really interesting because at some point the game almost became a live service game. And I think that's sort of the model for a lot of games and gaming moving forward. And so what I think we're going to get with Project Maverick is maybe a free-to-play game that's really simple. You just get in there. It's a flight simulator. You can play with your friends and your own squadron of X-Wings or TIE fighters doing different objectives or going through different battles that take place during the original trilogy. But I think that where the game will live is sort of as this very casual thing that can bring a bunch of players in. They might, put cosmetic stuff in there, upgrades and stuff to your ship that you can do with microtransactions. And as much as that's kind of messed up, I actually prefer that model to something like Battlefront 2, which Battlefront 2 was both a $60 game at launch that wasn't even finished and required a lot of microtransactions and paying for expansions as its life cycle continued. That's pretty stupid, and Battlefront 2 got a lot of heat for that. And so what I think they're going to do with Project Maverick, or my anticipation here, is that it's going to be sort of a small, tight packaged game, possibly even cross-platform, that allows a ton of different Star Wars fans to just jump in an X-Wing or jump in a TIE fighter and go have a space battle with other people. But there's this other interesting element here, and this is the idea of Maverick itself. Maverick is a very interesting word. It implies this sort of rebellious character, this person that goes against the grain, and the fact is EA Motive actually is best known for doing the story of Battlefront 2, which some people liked. I mean, some people had big problems with, but that was what they did on Battlefront. That studio majorly handled the story. So the question is there going to be some kind of a story in Project Maverick? Is there going to be a main character that is that Maverick? Are you going to play as that Maverick character or alongside that Maverick character? Many of these questions will likely be answered either on Tuesday or more than likely during the EA Live event, but that's sort of just where my headspace is at with that. On the one hand, I think really simple, really small, really accessible, free to play with microtransactions is likely the model, which, by the way, I'm totally there for. But then the other side of me is like, okay, but EA Motive was the storytelling people. Project Maverick in and of itself sort of makes you, it evokes this idea of being a rebel? Is there a new character going on? Like, what's the real explanation there? So that's just some of my speculation on what I think we might get from the game itself. And now let's shout out Jay Seed. Indeed, it was Eli Vanto who was the mentee of Grand Admiral Thrawn in the new Thrawn trilogy. So shout out to you, Jay Seed. And now let's ask another nerd card question before we get out of here. I want to know, what is the name of the classic N64 video game where you participate in all of these epic battles in an X-Wing squadron alongside Luke Skywalker? What was the name of that classic console flight simulator game? Answer that question in the comment section below. If you absolutely need more nerdy content in your life, click or tap over there to watch some more of our videos, or come on by our live streaming channel where we live stream every day, Monday through Friday, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like this video if you liked it. If you want to take your support to the next level and join the list of amazing people you see listed below, check out our Patreon for some behind-the-scenes content. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.